Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Today we are going to be looking at Lucid Motors. Lucid Motors is an EV maker, and they've been in the news quite a bit lately after their Q4 results set their stock price way up. Their stock doing for a little while. So today we are going to dive deep and trying to figure out, why is their stock going up? What's going on at the top of the company? And what does this all mean for the future of Lucid Motors? So first, let's take a look at Lucid's fourth quarter performance. They actually beat revenue expectations, and they reported a smaller loss than analysts were expecting. So they brought in $234.5 million in revenue. Analysts were only expecting $212.4 million. Their adjusted loss per share was 22 cents, and that was better than the 25-cent loss that everyone was anticipating. Right? And then also, they still had an adjusted EBITDA loss. That was $577.3 million. But again, it was slightly better than the $576 million loss that was projected. So you might be asking yourself, how is a loss good news? Well, when we were talking about high-growth companies, it's really all about the trajectory, right? So a smaller than expected loss suggests that they're actually managing their finances pretty well, while still, investing a lot of money into expansion. So speaking of expansion, Lucid's actually achieved something pretty remarkable. They'd had 4 consecutive quarters of record deliveries. That's pretty impressive in such a competitive EV market. So in Q4 alone, they produced 3,386 EVs, and they delivered 3,099 of those to customers. And then for the whole year, get this, they produced over 9,000 units and delivered over 10,000 cars. He compared that to the previous year, they only produced 8,420 or 28 and delivered 6,001. So as you can see, they're growing, and they're growing fast. But here's where things get interesting. Lucid announced that their CEO, Peter Rawlinson, is stepping down. He's been with the company for over a decade. And he was really instrumental in, taking Lucid from just an idea to an actual company that makes cars. He was really the brains behind a lot of their innovative technology and a luxurious feel of their cars. But he's not leaving for good. He's going to become a strategic advisor to the chairman of the board. So with Rawlinson stepping down, who's going to take his place? Well, Mark Winterhoff, who is their current COO, is going to be the interim CEO while they look for a permanent replacement. And it seems like Rawlinson's departure was on good terms. Both he and the chairman, Turkey Alnowaiser, had very nice things to say about Rawlinson and in all the work that he did to make Lucid successful. So this transition kind of makes you wonder, right? Is the new leadership going to, keep doing what Rawlinson was doing? Or are they going to take the company in a totally different direction? Interesting. Now, let's shift gears and look at Lucid's plans for the future. And get this, they're planning on producing 20,000 vehicles in 2025. 20,000. That's more than double what they're on track to produce this year. And I think this goal is a big reason why their stock has been doing so well. Investors are putting their money on Lucid because they think that they can actually capture a big piece of the EV market. But, ramping up production that quickly, it's a really difficult thing to do. There can be a lot of bumps along the way. So let's talk about Lucid's financial situation for a second, because to achieve these big, ambitious goals, they're getting a lot of money. Well, it looks like they might actually have the money to pull it off. They're really focused on improving their gross margins, which is basically the difference between how much money they make from selling their cars and how much it costs them to actually make the cars. Gross margin is a really important number to look at when you're trying to figure out if a company is actually profitable. On top of that, they're also really watching their operating expenses, and they're making these strategic investments that are, designed to help them grow even faster. But here's the thing that's really helping Lucid. They have the backing of the Public Investment Fund. Now, the Public Investment Fund, or PIF, is a sovereign wealth fund, and they have a ton of money. So having the PIF as a backer means that Lucid has a lot more breathing room. They're not as worried about, running out of money, and they can really afford to invest in all this new technology and innovation. So could this make them a real player in the EV market over the long term? Well, that's certainly possible. All right, let's do a quick recap before we wrap up. So Lucid had a really strong fourth quarter that beat expectations, and they're growing really, really fast. But we also saw Peter Rawlinson step down as CEO. He was a huge part of Lucid's success. But now it's going to be up to the new leadership to, decide where the company goes from here. And then looking ahead, Lucid has set this huge production target for 2025. They clearly want to be a leader in the electric vehicle market. So it'll be interesting to see if they can actually pull it off. All right, everyone, that's it for today's deep dive on Lucid Motors. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the show. And as always, stay curious. We'll see you next time.